I've been I've been feeling older recently, and not just in the way that I look, but how I actually feel. And I don't just mean mentally; I mean actually physically older. And I'm not very old at all. Matter of fact, I'm only 31, so I'm not even halfway to the normal life expectancy. Although that is going down in my country apparently. But I'm no spring chicken no more. My dad's a doctor, and he told me when I turned 30, he said, "Yep, you really are gonna see now." And it's not like it's a major change at all. It's obviously a gradual shift. It's gradual, but I don't know. I think that I'm like hypersensitive to a lot of things in life, and I think that I am hypersensitive to this. I think that I feel the age so subtly creeping in. And when I remember, like even when I turned 26, they say that your brain stops developing around that time, from like 26 to 30, right, on average. Sometimes 26 to 28, and it sounds crazy, but I swear to you, I could feel the day that my brain fully solidified, the day that I became myself. And I'd felt it getting closer and closer to that day, and I remember that day very vividly because it felt like something clicked. Whether that's true or not is in my mind. The answer, who knows? I believe it. I've been in this mind, in this body for this long. I think I'm pretty used to it. I think I understand it pretty well. But yeah, and then that's been getting me thinking. This feeling older. And I was at the gym today and did some sprints. I didn't really warm up, and I felt that when I was 21, I could sprint, not warm up, and be like, whatever. Now I'm 31. Feel it a little bit more. Not a lot, but a little bit more. Enough to notice it. And it just got me thinking about, all of the biohacking, all of the anti-aging protocols. It's just so interesting to me because on one hand, I do understand the value in it. And I do a lot of these things myself, not just for longevity, but for just peaceful living, for happy, healthy living, for a life where my mind is not running, for a life where I feel at peace because I've gotten a workout in, or I've regulated my dopamine with cold plunges. It feels good. But it got me thinking about all of this biohacking, all of this anti-aging, all of this plastic surgery. Because what's really the point in all that? Someone might argue, well, because I'm going to live as long as I can. I'm going to make sure that I don't age. I'm going to slow down aging as much as possible. And my first response was, but you're still going to lose. You are still going to lose that battle, no matter what. And this isn't to be, negative. It's just a reality to it. And I'm not saying that I myself am not going to do some of these protocols, I'm not saying I'm not going to do things that can slow down my aging either. But I will do that with this understanding. And I think a lot of people avoid it. They want to push away that understanding. They want to forget it. And that's not real. That's not real. That's not realism. That's not acknowledging and accepting. I think a lot of us fear death, obviously, and that's a big reason why we don't. And we may not even fear it for our own sake, but for our family's sake or whatever. But this is what's so good and so beautiful about the Dhamma, is that it acknowledges this at its core. Like, this is part of it. And so in that, you can honor it. Like, you can actually honor it. You can honor every moment. You can honor aging. You can honor death. There's a sutta, which is like a story in Buddhism. It's called the Satipatthana Sutta. Well, I'm not going to try and spell that. Satipatthana. Two T's, Anna, with a line over it. Satipatthana Sutta. Maybe the line over it's over there. Anyway. And what it means is it's the mindfulness sutta. And in this sutta, it actually breaks down every different aspect in the body. The skin, the muscle, the tissue, the excrement, the spit, the saliva, the blood, the bile. And it has you meditate on this. It has you meditate on each one of these factors of the body, of the human body. And it has you recognize how damn repulsive it is. Which is wild, man. It's wild. Because you have a lot of people that love their body. I mean, I myself, I'm very grateful for my body, and I do love my body. And it's not that you can't love your body, but it's to recognize that this body is not self. And that when looked upon, it's like, don't you think this self would be so much more, I don't know, like ethereal? So much more regal and mystical and light. And these things are heavy. Yeah. It's something we all try to avoid. We'll fight till the death not to die. But we still lose. So as I get older, I'm going to do what everybody does, of course. Try to enjoy it. Enjoy the moments, the little things. Enjoy the moments with family. And of course, I'm going to try and continue to be healthy, because that's also a point. It's not just to live as long as possible, but for however long you live, to do it with as little pain as possible. But all the while, it's just so important to just recognize that this body will perish. In that same sutta, it explains how you can imagine all of the pieces of the body decomposing. It also describes all of those pieces of the body, just like if you filled a bag full of sand and dirt, or meal and barley and just different crops. And you looked at that bag and you're like, yep, it's like all that in there is similar to what's in me. I'll end you with this on the subject. There's a meditation for advanced practitioners, somebody who is not unstable, somebody who has been practicing for a while, somebody who's prepared to practice like this, and it's a death meditation where you actually imagine your body lifeless in front of you. Chills, man. That's one of the craziest things to think about. And I don't even know if I should say that. I don't know if you've ever seen a lifeless, not human, but any animal. Definitely looks very different. The lack of movement. And so it does make you wonder, where do we go? Who is that? What is that? Oh, that's right. It's just the body. And that's another crazy thing about the Buddhist practice is with rebirth, we've died thousands of times and we've been reborn thousands of times. So just that concept alone is insane. Think about that. You've experienced death before. You know what that's like. And you've been born before. You know what that's like thousands of times. And samsara is this life. And when will it end? Will it end? If we choose to exit the cycle of samsara, if we choose to put in the work, if we choose to develop mindfulness, if we choose to build good karma, and if we choose to put in that work so we can become unbound, as the Buddha once put it, the unbinding, in that recognizing true self, that is not self, that is unspeakable self, unfathomable self, that is the self that you cannot put into words, that is full stop. I heard Al Gore say that today. That was pretty awesome. I love that dude. Should have been president. But yeah, even though I get older, I have to accept it regardless, you know? So do you. I was going to end this video early, but I don't know. Lots coming out now. Something else I thought about is I've always had this saying about, the younger generations that make fun of the older generations. Like, oh, they're so cringe. A lot of people do that with millennials. I'm a millennial on the younger side, but still one. And I always think to myself, I just kind of chuckle in my head when I hear that, because I'm like, dude, that's going to be you. No one escapes that. And I think I did that a little bit. Not a lot. I think certain generations definitely do it more than others, but yeah. If you're lucky, though. Okay, I'll end with this story. I was working one night, very, very busy, and I was waiting tables, and I did a double shift and made a lot of good money, which was awesome. And I finally sat down to have a cheeseburger and at the break area where, funny enough, was not the break room. There was customers that could actually sit near you. It was 10 p.m. at night. We were about to close, and this dude sitting next to me finishes his food, and he gets up. We're at this bar, and he gets up next to me, and he goes, he makes a groan. And I kind of just look over, thinking that maybe he was hurt or something. And he looks at me and he notices that I noticed his groan. And he said something along the lines of, "Don't worry, you just wait." And he started, and then we kind of went back and forth, and then he started walking out, and he said, "You'll get there if you're lucky. You'll get there if you're lucky." And I was like, what? And then it hit me. If I'm lucky enough to get to that age, if I don't die before then. It was amazing. It was amazing. And then I was like, oh my God, and finished my burger and sat with that for a while. And you don't believe that, you think whatever, live forever, especially when you're 21, 22. But one of my best friends died when he was 28 from a freak accident. He went missing. He was on the news. They found his wallet one day. Then they found his phone ping. Then they were searching this river. And then finally they found him way down the river. Or should I say they found his corpse. Also a hard word to say, but I think that's because in America we view that so differently than the Eastern countries. Because that wasn't him, that was just his body. His form, rupa. So, yeah, if you're lucky, you can grow old. If you're lucky, you get to experience the pain. If you're lucky, you groan when you stand up. Okay. Thanks for listening, guys. Little bit different of a format, but just had a spout of inspiration. In the office, when they asked Dwight, how did you come up with such a good idea? That was amazing. The golden ticket idea, when he's taking Michael's idea, and he just... Inspiration. You know what I'm talking about. It's hilarious. If you know what I'm talking about. Okay. Thanks, guys. I love you. Oh, the light went off. That's my cue. The light died. So the video's gotta stop. Okay. Make sure to do the things, hit the buttons, and I'll see y'all soon.